Hi, and welcome to Rebels Deconstructed. I'm Alex. I will be your host for today. It's my pleasure to have Veronica Nedelcu, product designer, with me today, or Vero, how we like to call her. Hi, Vero.
Hi, Alex.
How are you today?
Please call me Vero.
How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Any plans for the weekend?
Actually, yes. I'm gonna go to a cabin to a birthday party.
Oh wow, that sounds cool. Where?
In the Mureș County.
Okay.
My fiance has a cabin there, and it's his mother's birthday, so we will go there and celebrate.
Is there any snow there right
now? No, not yet, at least. But it's really nice when it does snow and when it freezes, because there's a huge lake. It's bigger than our lake in Cluj-Tarnica.
Nice.
And you can skate there, actually. I've never got to do that because it wasn't frozen enough, but maybe this winter, who knows.
Awesome. Cool. So Vero, let's start with the roots. What did you want to become when you were a child?
When I was a child, I wanted to become some sort of scientist.
All right.
Or a doctor, veterinarian, or a biologist, stuff that's related to biology mostly. Maybe because my aunt and uncle were doctors and I admired them very much. But in time, I discovered my talent or predisposition maybe for painting.
How did that happen?
Well, I would say that it just happened, but it's never the case. I was exposed to a context. The context was that my father painted exceptionally well. I would tell him to draw me an animal like a giraffe or a zebra or an elephant or whatever, and he would draw it anatomically perfectly from the mind.
Wow.
And that was something that was really rare, and it still is rare to draw something that correctly, only from the mind and without viewing a photo or whatever. And I never had that accuracy. I had to look at something in order to reproduce it. But I admired that, and I think I wanted to kind of emulate that, I think. But that's how it started. And at some point, I was at my grandparents' house at the countryside. I saw a really, really beautiful church that I just wanted to start to draw, and I did it. And it was a good drawing. That's when I knew.
That was the key point, the starting point,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And what happened next?
Next, I went to school. I think at that moment I was about 7. I started to get better at drawing in school. My teachers never believed that I created my own drawings. They believed that my father did, and I was really angry with them for that. But yeah, my talent or skill progressed. I went to the languages profile in high school, so I never studied art or painting or drawing as a skill. It was more of a hobby. My dad taught me some things, so that's how my skills grew, but I never followed that specific path. And after I finished high school, I wanted to pursue interior design. And I had a talk with a professor of the arts university here in Cluj, and he said that I don't stand any chances to even to even enter the admission exam, because because I didn't have any skills or context and didn't follow that profile in high school, and I believed him. So I said I was going to go to painting because this is something that I know how to do. I would get in. I would kind of develop my skill in that direction because, as I said, I never studied it professionally before, and I wanted to take that opportunity to develop my skill. But it wasn't that pleasant of an experience. I think maybe it's because I wasn't mature enough. I didn't know how to...
how old were you at this point?
18, 19. Yeah. I didn't like the teachers, to be really honest, but maybe it was just my perception of them. I'm not really sure. And then I didn't really know what to do with my life. I had a feeling that I have to give up on arts because I was kind of sick of it during university. I had to paint a lot of stuff that I didn't like. It wasn't my choice anymore. We had models that we had to paint. I would have loved to have different models. We only had 2.
So you're kind of limited in terms of creativity, I guess.
Yeah. And also, I still think I wasn't mature enough then.
Yeah. And so you said that you stopped going to the painting school. How did you end up into the world of design? What happened?
Well, a lot of things happened. After I finalized the painting university, the arts and design university, I studied Chinese and Spanish. Yeah.
So there was something in between then.
Yeah, I always had, I don't know, I liked foreign languages and I liked studying them, studying the grammar. I'm kind of a grammar Nazi in Romanian as well, so yeah, I'm a grammar nerd. So I really like studying foreign languages, and I thought that it's a good career opportunity to learn Chinese. I wanted to go there with experience exchange programs. I wanted to work as a translator. I had some plans. But then in my second year, something personal happened. I couldn't pursue the university anymore. And so I was again in the situation when I really didn't know what to do and what my career or future holds. And it was kind of, I don't know, serendipity kind of moment. I had a few conversations with a colleague at the Chinese university. She said that she found a website, 99 Designs, where you can compete for logo and graphics creations, and if you win, then the money prize would be considerable. I mean, for the lack of
on the side, while attending the Chinese faculty, were you still, involved in creating, painting, designing?
Very rarely. No. I used to paint and sell my paintings in high school, so before starting the university.
Okay.
After that, I lost all appetite for painting.
Yeah.
It was really hard to think of a concept, think of a message, and it took so long that I didn't even start that whole process.
All right.
And so this colleague of mine told me that she has no experience, but she created a few logos that won a few contests. And I tried it too. I said, okay, that's something interesting to do, and it potentially has a future. Graphic design. I want to try and study that without giving it too much thought, because if I do, then I might never pursue it. And so I started to teach myself, basically. I bought a graphic tablet, started to draw, started to create illustrations, as well as logos and graphic design elements. Started to engage in competitions. I worked on Fiverr for a while. And I started to create some skill there. And then there was a very crucial moment in my career. It was my birthday in 2016. I think I was at the car wash in my pajamas with a very good friend of mine who just got hired at a company, at an IT company, Amazon. Not sure if you've heard of it. It's still really cool. She was there as a business analyst, and she said, well, there's a really nice UX team there. Maybe I could recommend you. And I said, well, on what basis? Because I just started to learn, and I mostly based my courses, trainings into illustrations and just graphic design, not UX design. And she said, well, let's try either way. And we did. I got an internship. It was a really cool team of three designers. And that's how it started. I had my boot camp there. I mostly learned UI design, user interface design, because their structure then was a bit different than the usual structure. There were business analysts that worked with UX designers to create the logic of the platforms and flows and wireframes and so on. And the UI designer would take their work and transform it into a nice interface.
Cool. And how did you find this transition, from pure art, like painting on a canvas, to digital?
It was refreshing, actually. It was less messy, because I use oil paints to paint, and it takes a lot of time for the paint to dry. I make a lot of mess. My hair, my face, my furniture, my dog, everything is
That's very
painted.
artsy, though.
Yeah, but it's annoying. Even washing the brush is annoying for me, so I like the digital part.
Cool. And how did you end up at RebelDot?
Well, after that first company, I moved to the second company I worked for, where I was briefly just an illustrator and graphic designer. So from UI design, I went back to illustration and graphic design, until, again, a very crucial moment where I was confronted with a choice. The marketing department that I was part of dissolved because, budget issues and so on. It happens. And I was asked whether I want to proceed as a UX designer or leave the company. So it wasn't my choice. I wouldn't have thought that I would be good at it, because I always thought that I'm too artistic and I'm not logical enough. My mind just doesn't work in that way to be suitable for a logical job. And I was thrown on a project on my first day. I think it was it was crazy. It was a Tommy Hilfiger Japan branch.
That was pretty big, right?
Pretty abrupt.
Like the first day of driving school. Exactly. It was similar back then also, really. I didn't know what the pedals were, and the instructor was just drive now. Okay, but how? How did that go?
It was interesting. They wanted to build an app for store assistants, sales associates in store that would help people find what they're looking for, assist them, and so on. It was really interesting. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't start to panic yet, because it was too new and exciting. But after a while, when I saw the interconnectedness of that field and how vast it was, I always compare it to medicine, because it has so many branches and skill sets that you need to do, that at some point when I realized that, I became pretty overwhelmed with everything and with all the things that I didn't know, basically. I started to discover what I need to learn, and it was a lot of it. It was everything. And yeah, I had a good experience despite that. And then I moved to RebelDot.
This was 2 years ago?
2.5 years ago. I came here because my good friend and colleague at the previous company, Juana, did not shut up about how cool RebelDot was as soon as she landed here. And so I just had to come.
That figures, yeah.
It sounded promising, really, because I really liked the interview process, the fact that we had a technical test, a platform that we had to imagine in terms of design and create and pitch it. So there are a lot of skill sets that are uncovered during that process. I really love that, the fact that it's not just an interview, it's more than that. You can see the person's attitude, you can see the skill set, but that can be taught, that can be learned. But yeah, you can see a lot of things, so I appreciated that.
Awesome. And can you share some insights about the team, the design team and RebelDot, about, I don't know, how your collaboration goes, for example, what makes it unique?
I'm not sure about unique, because I'm not sure how it is in other companies, but I really like the fact that we most often than not don't work on projects alone. We work in teams of 2 or 3 designers. Right now we're a team of 2 designers, but up until very recently we were 3. I really enjoy working with the girls. I'm saying girls because we're 6 girls and Tom, the head of design. So I haven't had the chance to closely work with Tom on a project. But yeah, I really love the collaboration part, especially since at the previous company I mostly worked alone. So I had to learn how to work in teams and even how to guide my colleagues, because since recently I started to have mentoring and coaching responsibilities, and that has been very interesting.
Nice. So RebelDot is known for offering consultancy first solutions for its clients. How does this mindset affect your design process?
That means a lot of things. So we're design first. We have a design-centric process. It all starts even at the sales level, where usually Tom or Juana are present and are collecting the needs of the customer. And after that, when we actually kick off the project, we start with gathering needs, gathering business objectives. We don't follow strict requirements from the client side. We don't execute anything without proper discovery, understanding, proposal of solutions. So consultancy revolves in that area of closely collaborating with the customer, with the users, to make sure that we uncover everything that we need, we define the right problem, and we find the right solutions for them. And we push back when we see that the product is not going in the right direction.
Great. So I guess this makes it a lot easier for you guys as well when it comes to proposing a design.
Exactly. Especially the discovery and research part. That's the most crucial, and that's when we, as I said, uncover everything and set the ground for a successful product that serves its user and their needs.
So talking about this, how does a good design influence the success of a product?
Well, it makes or breaks the product, basically. And a design, don't imagine it as being just the interface. Although I'm sure you know that. But I like
that might be a common, misconception or, common thought.
It usually is amongst people that don't work in this field. I don't want to generalize, but for example, when I talk to my grandmother about about my job a lot. I describe what I do, and she now understands and explain to fellow old friends that what her granddaughter does is not just about how it looks. It's about how it functions. It's about the logic behind every action that you can press on. It's about the business objectives, what they want to achieve. It's about aligning those objectives with what the user needs to do. It's about testing what you're doing to make sure that you solve the right problems, because it's possible that you launch an MVP and things blow up because maybe you didn't have enough time to test the product, or maybe you didn't have enough research time to uncover everything. So then you have to adapt, iterate, and that's part of the normal process. But yeah, the point is that that logic that you create when creating the architecture of the product makes or breaks the business, I would dare to say.
Cool. I love this, the super tech grandma.
Yeah.
That sounds so awesome.
Yeah, she doesn't even own a smartphone. She owns a tablet.
Oh wow.
We kind of obligated her to own a tablet because we wanted to FaceTime with her. She only uses the weather app. She's kind of scared to use anything else. She would have the mental capacity to do it. I think she's just too set in her ways, but she understands a lot of the things I do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's the first time I'm hearing something like this, so kudos for your grandma.
Thank you.
Talking about, the constant changes that happen in the design world, how do you see the latest trends? And I'm talking here mostly about AI. Do you think it changes a lot of how you work, or it improves it? I don't know. What's your view on this?
I love that topic. I still feel I have a lot to learn about it. I'm still in the initial phase of discovering what everything AI related does. Yeah. But I've started to use it, and I will give you a few examples. But going back to this whole work environment, and how it changes with the use of AI, it's both tricky and exciting. Okay. Tricky because a lot of people still don't know how to use it properly to help them within their job responsibilities. Right. Maybe some people are reluctant. Also, the job market has become a bit too oversaturated due to the global economic and political problems. It's especially difficult for entry-level designers to get a job. And I'm not sure whether AI simplifies or complicates things in that respect. But I think that, as everyone is saying on social media, we have to differentiate ourselves professionally by the help of AI. And here comes the exciting part for me. I feel like every capability that I imagine possible by using AI is coming true sooner rather than later. And I'm gonna give you an example of something that I want to do. I saw last week that you can create your own custom GPT. ChatGPT has a new functionality. Have you seen that?
Not yet.
You can go to ChatGPT and choose to create your own GPT. What does it mean? And here I will give you an example of what I want to do, but I won't use any information from a real project. I will just use a hypothetical one.
Okay.
So let's say that I'm working on a banking system platform, a really complex platform that helps banking employees manage loans and things like that. Maybe I haven't worked on that industry before, and I have to perform a lot of research. I have to it's not enough maybe to just read articles on the internet. I would like to take that to the next level and read subject matter experts, read about best practices in the industry in terms of design patterns, in terms of functionalities, and that would take a while. And in this context of a lot of the customers being reluctant to spend money and want things delivered sooner rather than later, AI tools come in really handy because they can cut off man hours. And so what I can do is I can go to ChatGPT, create my own GPT, give it a set of really specific rules and constraints. I want to use this version with the purpose of researching banking systems and loan processes. And then I can feed it books, which is a difference. So this is the difference between using normal ChatGPT and your own GPT, because ChatGPT collects internet information,
like worldwide,
general information, which might not be enough for the specificity that you need. So if you feed it books, then it gives you information that's more accurate, and it saves a lot of the research time. Now, of course, you have to also perform qualitative research, like user interviews, maybe field studies, surveys. That's more quantitative, but that could be applicable as well. So you have to implement other research methods as well, but it really helps.
Awesome. Can't wait to hear that you implemented that.
Hopefully we will start 2 weeks from now, because a new phase of the project is starting. We're working on a post MVP, and excited to use more of AI there.
So I noticed that you're very anchored in the latest news. How do you keep track of everything? How do you keep up with all the updates and news in the industry?
I don't. It's really difficult to do that. I don't often have time to read the news, even in our political scenario, for example, or just normal news. I don't have time to do that. But what I did with the colleague that I'm working with, Andrea, we try to implement a habit, a daily habit of reading an article, a design-related article, or related to the work that we're doing currently, related to the industry that we're working on.
There you go.
That went well for a while. And then things had to take up more speed on the project. So we didn't have time for that anymore. So right now I can say that I didn't read any design-related or technology-related news for a few weeks, except for the GPT one. But I feel like you can have a period of time where you just wait for things to accumulate, for things to happen, and then that information is available.
And I think sometimes it can give you more freedom for creativity and to be focused. It gives you a bit more space than just trying to concentrate on everything moving so fast around us.
Exactly. You don't have to keep track with anything, and if you do want to know what's been going on, you can do that. You can be a bit more relaxed about it.
Moving a bit outside of the work, is there something that inspires you related to designing, or maybe another hobby or passion that you might have?
That's that's a large topic. Yes, there are a lot of things. I think on the design part, it's the motivation that I'm helping users. And I think that everyone at RebelDot has to have that in some percentage, because I feel like we are all high achievers that work hard on the projects that we're allocated on, because we feel the intrinsic motivation of helping other people. And I don't think that comes from selfishness, although it might. But as far as I'm concerned, I feel happy that I know that other people's jobs get easier to manage or to digest because of the work we do, because the work-life satisfaction is interconnected with overall happiness, and if we help people perform their jobs easier or better, then that.
I know I said that we're moving a bit outside work, but now that you mentioned it, I have to ask this. Is there something that really frustrates you when it comes to design work?
Yeah, there are things, of course. Yeah. I think it's delivering premium or almost premium products in really short time frames.
Okay.
That can be consuming. And I think it's only possible because of the intrinsic motivation that the entire team has. It would not be possible without that. That's a challenge, because we have to internally organize really well in order for everything to work properly, to deliver on time, to even the process of creating estimations before starting work has to be really precise. And that's an art and a science to achieve, but it has to be precise, because we don't often change those estimations. So we have to adapt along the way if additional things come up. So that's a challenge.
And how do you manage to adapt? Because I know sometimes it can be very, frustrating when things just come and go and you have to deliver like on a deadline. How do you manage to do this in a team?
There are a lot of moving parts, and there's a lot of volatility in some projects' contexts. It's not all of them, but when the deadline becomes pressing, we just take a step back, assess what we need to stop doing, what we need to start doing, where we need to wear multiple hats.
Yeah.
For example, for a project, I had a hybrid role for a while, product manager / UX designer. That came out of the client's need, because the PM chair was empty for a while. I was asked whether I want to step in. I was excited by the possibility, because I wanted to fill in some knowledge gaps in terms of strategic vision and involving myself more in the business objectives of the customer. And Tom, the RebelDot head of design, said, well, Vero, it's up to you, however you would feel like. If you think that it helps you, then do it. And I did it. And it was intense. After a while, I came to Tom and I said, well, Tom, this hybrid role is really, really stupid. It's plain stupid. This should not be done by one single person. Tom said, I know.
What's the most important thing you learned from this experience?
Jumping head on something is a good idea, ultimately, and that's why Tom encouraged me to do it, because he knew it was kind of a risky idea, but he knew that I would learn a lot from it. So I managed to fill some of my gaps knowledge gaps in terms of business strategy. That was a big win. I learned to use product management tools. I learned to write tickets, things that I now use on the project I'm currently working on, because again, we have no PM, and we don't have we didn't have a business analyst up until now. So myself and a few other members of the team had to wear multiple hats in order to cover that role. So that skill really came in handy. So
Great.
That's basically what we do to adapt. We accumulate a lot of other skills other than what we have to do or what's written in the job description, and just do it to help the team.
Cool. So now, going for real outside the job, what do you do when you're not at work, when you're not working?
My fiance and I have seasonal hobbies that we like to do together, like 3D printing, creating 3D designs on the computer. And
any specific designs or whatever comes to your mind?
At first it was lamps, vases, plates, ashtrays, things like that. Decorative things mostly, but I have a thing for lamps, so I love lamps as well. I have I think a dozen at home, different colors and shapes. Yeah. We can show you and maybe print you a lamp if if you like the design.
Awesome. I know that you also have a dog.
Yes.
And you told me his name, and I really liked it, and I can't remember it now.
Greg.
I think that's a perfect name for a dog.
Yeah, my future father-in-law gave him that name, and I love it. Greg is a big part of our lives. He's a pandemic child, so he's heavy on separation anxiety because the three of us were tied together for 2 years, and we didn't leave home for even for 10 minutes. We had periods when we all stuck together, and so now it's a bit difficult to leave him home alone. But other than that, although he's a beagle, he didn't eat any furniture, he didn't dig tunnels through the couch. He was just the perfect dog. So
cool. Tell me one thing that you dislike. For example, I don't like mosquitoes. I hate mosquitoes. I think they're on top of the list of the things I truly, truly hate. I'm curious, do you have something like this?
I'm sure I do.
I know hate is a very strong word though, but
I would say absurdity.
All right.
When people are absurd and are really incorrect, and they just push on with those absurd arguments, then I flip it. I really hate that. And mosquitoes as well. I just lose it I'm
not sure if there's a single person on earth who likes mosquitoes. I mean, that person would be very weird.
No, I mean, not even tolerate, I would say.
Yeah. So, you know how to paint? You know Chinese?
Knew. Let's say I knew it.
Well, but with a bit of Duolingo, I think you're right back on the tracks, right?
I think I would need 3 months to get back on track, but yeah.
That's much, better than an ordinary person, so it's great. You know product design. What's next?
Creating furniture, I think. I think I would like to go back to interior design and not necessarily have it as a full-time job, because I wouldn't trade it for product design. But I want to focus some of my free time on that, and maybe create designs for certain pieces of furniture, like tables, chairs, and rugs, stuff like that, and create them. And maybe.
Do you have a favorite style of furniture, of interior design?
I think it's a blend of Japanese and mid-century and a bit of Scandinavian for practicality.
You have to add a bit of Scandinavian.
You just have to. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Vero.
Thank you.
I hope you had a good time.
I did.
Thank you all for watching. This was Rebels Deconstructed, and see you next time.